Hello, it's Mr. Miller for Lesson 5-3, Rate of Change and Slope. So here's another way that we can learn how to graph lines. So last time we learned about intercepts. Now we're going to learn about rate of change and slope. So remember, there's no wrong way to graph it. It's just whichever way works best for you. So we need to find out our slope for this section, which is basically the rise over the run. And that'll tell us what our slope is. Okay, so remember our slope triangle in math means change, so they're change in y over change in x. So the rise is how much we're going to go, the difference between two y values, so how much we're going to go up or down, I guess on rise, so how much we're going to go up or down. The run is the difference in the x values, so how much we're going to go left or right. And the slope is the ratio from rise to run for any 2 points on the graph. So remember, it's any 2 points. So if somebody picks the first two and somebody picks the last two, you will get the same slope. Okay, and then kind of going back to correlation like we did in chapter 4. So from left to right, this is going to be a positive slope, like it was a positive correlation. From left to right here, it's going down, so it's going to be a negative slope, kind of like it was a negative correlation. If we have a zero slope, it's going to be just a horizontal line. And then if we have a line that's up and down, it's going to be an undefined slope. Usually I like to think of it like a skiing. So if I have someone skiing on something like this, well, it's not going to be very fun because you're not going to be going anywhere really. But if you're skiing on something like this, that's not going to be too safe. So when you get down to the bottom here, you will be undefined. So let's look at these and pick out if we are positive, negative, zero slope, or undefined. So remember, going left to right here, we're going up, so this would be a positive slope. This one here in the middle, so it looks like we're up and down, and if we were skiing on this, when we got to the bottom, we would end up being undefined. This one up top, it looks like from left to right we are going down, so it's going to be a negative slope. And this one down here, from left to right, it looks like we are going up, so it's going to be a positive slope. So the way we tell, we're not just looking at positive, negative, no slope, or undefined slope. We're actually looking at numbers. Okay, and sometimes the book is going to give us, and the worksheet's going to give us some nice points for us to know what numbers we're comparing, and sometimes it's not. But no matter what, we're looking for points where it crosses these grid lines exactly. So like something like right here, and just crossing the grid line exactly. Something like right here, and just crossing that grid line exactly. So then we're just going to literally count. So we are going up 1, so there's my positive 1, and then we're going to go right 2 spaces. So there's my positive 2. So my slope is 1 over 2, so 1/2. It's always going to be a fraction, even when it's something like this. Doesn't matter, it's still going to end up being a fraction. So if we, again, can find 2 points where it looks like we are crossing right at that axis, it looks like right there to right there. So remember, we're going up first, so it looks like we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4. So up 4, that's why it's a positive 4. And to the right 1, so positive 4 over 1, which is really the same as 4 over 1. And we'll see this more on other slides that'll have that'll have dots for us so we can count where we're supposed to be. But just remember, the bigger the number, that means the bigger slope we have. You could see the slope of 1/2 isn't very steep. If you were trying to climb up that wouldn't be too hard. But something like this slope of 4, it'd be pretty much impossible to climb up something that had slope like that. Something we might have to look at is the difference in time. So our slope for temperature here, so from month 2 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 8, if we look at the slope there from the different temperatures, we can kind of see which temperature or which month had the greatest change of temperature. And it looks like from 5 to 7, that was a pretty big change there. Even from 3 to 5 looked like a pretty big change there. So here's another point of what I was saying, where no matter what, we're going to count which way we're going. So you should always count up or down first, but just to prove that it's the same, we did it 2 different ways here. So from this point to this point, and there's the dots to represent that they went right through that corner in the grid. It looks like we're going up 3, so we are rising 3, and going left 9, so we are running 9, but since it's to the left, it's going to be negative. So here's a positive 3 and a negative 9, which simplifies to a negative 1/3. If we went the other way, where we went down 3, there's my down 3, and right 9, there's my positive 9, we'd still end up with a negative 1/3 once we simplify it. Here's another example, so no matter what, if I were to do this one first, so from this dot to this dot, if I rise negative 2, because it's down 2, so there's my negative 2, and I run right 5, so positive 5, it's negative 2 over 5, which is the same as negative 2 over 5. Versus this one, if I rise 2, so I'm going up 2 first, and going left 5, well, I still have 1 negative and 1 positive, so it's still going to end up with negative 2 over 5. So there's pretty much no wrong way to start or finish these graphs, as long as you are doing them correctly.